Hello, everyone. We are live. It's lunchtime. And look who we've got with us at the
Woo!
table. We've got Dee with us. Yay! We're so excited. And I
Very
think we
excited.
had as much time before we got on as we're going to have during this hour together. And just for those who are new, we want to welcome you to lunchtime. And as I said, I have the pleasure of having Dee from Dee Lovely Life with us today. She's a YouTuber, she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, and I tell you what, she is a delightful person. And I'm Leona Dooley. This is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. And you know what? At lunchtime, we want to be able to get together, sit and chit chat, have all kinds of topics that we can talk about. And it sometimes the guys are in with us and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're more girly and sometimes it's not. But it's lunchtime. So we've got our drinks, we've got our sandwiches, and some have already told me that they've got some lunch out there. They've been fixing lunch. Ronnie's been out there fixing her husband Philly
Mm.
cheesesteak sandwich and fries for lunch.
Ooh.
Whew, that just sounds so delicious, Ronnie. I
Sounds
can't
really
wait.
good.
Oh, but Dee, you are from my favorite part of the country. And we get to come to, we love San Francisco. And my husband, when he was working and traveling, he would travel San Francisco pretty frequently. And so we had a chance, I had a chance to sneak off from school one time and go with him. I was hooked. I was hooked. I love it.
Yes.
And so, in fact, it's funny because last night we were talking about trying to plan another trip back because we really do. We love the area and we found a few friends. And, I think there's one relative, one cousin that's out in that area. So we may come out and try to visit
Oh,
and
it's
see
gorgeous here.
everyone. I love it. It's a beautiful place. So we're good. Without further ado, we got folks that are jumping on, and I'm going to get started. We have been talking about Dee. I know you probably had a chance to just look a little bit, but we've been talking about trying to live our best life, and everybody's got their idea of what their best life is, and as we're dealing with homemakers, both young and old. And as we think about the best life, of course, we're trying to live our best life as moms and wives and, are just people in general. But we're also trying to live our best life for those who are around us. We deal with our family, we're dealing with our community. And so, I would tell the audience am just so excited to have Dee here with us today because she is certainly a wonderful spirit and just represents those things that I think as people that we need to be able to emulate for others. We need to share with others, our kindness, our compassion. And so, Dee, how's the weather out there where you are?
Well, right now it's a gorgeous, gorgeous morning. The sun is out, the blue skies are just open, it's bright, birds chirping, cats
Oh,
just out there laying around, and it's gorgeous. It's a little chilly more than usual, but that's okay.
mhm.
At least it's not raining, although we do need the rain in
Yeah.
California,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's
Oh,
gorgeous.
yeah.
It's been gorgeous. I can't no complaints over here in
All right.
California.
All right. Well, over here in Virginia, we are going up to 80 degrees today.
Ooh.
Don't get excited. Don't get
Oh,
excited because tomorrow our high is supposed to be 50. So, from one extreme to another. But
that was us
that's
yesterday.
March.
Yeah, crazy weather.
Well, we got folks who are jumping on, and we got folks who are saying hello, hello. And we got Patricia who's on. She's welcoming you. And
Hi,
Melinda
Patricia.
said, See if I can get her in. She said they've got rain. And she said she'll happily send some to you. You don't want it today, though, right?
Yeah, not today, maybe tomorrow.
So we've also got, let's see, let me see if I can get that. Uh-oh. All right. That was Melinda. That's what she was saying hi to everybody. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Now we've got, I'll get this worked, get everything flipped, but I'm going to focus a little more here. Um, Guys, I am so happy that you are here today, and we're going to jump in and get started. Now, first of all, we are being sponsored today by Malacasa. And if you were with me on Saturday and maybe saw a video from last week, Malacasa has beautiful stoneware. And on Saturday, we used one of their stoneware baking dishes. And I have to tell you the truth, something happened on Saturday. Let me see if I can get to it real quick.
Hi, guys.
I had to put it back.
Oh no.
I was
Wah, wah, wah,
that is the
wah.
wah, wah, wah. I was in the process of taking it out. You know, we had the chicken parmesan sliders, and
Ooh.
I was bringing the pan out just far enough so I could take the top off and see. I didn't want to get too brown, but I was taking that off, and I had and it's one of those gripper gloves, and I had my hand on it. It slipped and broke. But I was a good girl. I didn't use any bad words, especially not on camera. So, but I am so sad. My top is gone. But you know what? It is still a beautiful dish, and I can't wait. I know a couple of the folks that are on there were saying, "Oh, it's gonna look good with some macaroni and cheese," and I'm thinking, "Yes, it
Ooh.
will." And so we're gonna be working it anyway. Top or not. So thank you, Malacasa. Now, Dee, as you know, is the creator of Dee Lovely Life. And Dee, if you will, just share with the viewers, tell us a little bit about you, about yourself, kind of, what you've done along the way, because certainly you have a very accomplished life, even beyond the doors of YouTube. So tell us about that.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Actually, my name is Denise, but here on YouTube and close family and friends have always called me Dee. And so, with that, I think like sometimes I kind of remind myself, like, oh, yeah, that's right. Denise, I always use Denise professionally
Mhm.
because I was very career driven before becoming a homemaker and a family caregiver. And so Denise always reminds me of like Denise, the working lady, the working gal, career woman. And then Dee is more or less like, that's me. That just sums it up. Dee, hey Dee, welcome home, Dee. My best friends all call me Dee, and so I really like that part of me is on the Dee side. The Denise is like really focused. She's serious. She could be a little too serious sometimes. So with YouTube, I feel like that's my creative side. I'm not a sewer. I'm not a painter. I'm just not those type, that does those creative thing like scrapbooking. That is like something I would love to do. And I know that there's a lot of people who watch on YouTube and they're into like planners with the stickers or scrapbooking and all that. And I would love to get into that, but that was just never me. Cooking, I never cooked, Leona. I never did. When I remember calling up my mom when I first moved out, and I had to ask her, Mom, how do I make eggs? Like real, like over easy eggs. I don't know how to do that.
I'm
I
laughing,
mean,
but I didn't say anything.
I didn't really do any of that, you know. I mean,
Mhm,
I clean, I did like chores and stuff like that
mhm,
around, but I was more always soon as I got out, it was like I hit the ground running far as like
mhm,
finding a job and then getting my career. It was like I
mhm,
was so career minded
mhm,
that keeping up with the home or learning how to cook was just not my thing, you
mhm,
know. I
mhm,
tried my best on certain dishes throughout the years, but it was never a thing. And that always reminds me of the Denise portion of my life. And then when I became more at ease with myself, um, and staying home, now I'm part of like the happy go lucky go kind of D,
mhm.
I should say.
Goody.
Right, the D. And I'm loving this part of me now.
Mhm,
What I used to be to where I am right now, there is a little bit of give and take.
mhm,
So when I was a career person, I immediately stopped everything when my mom had a massive stroke in 2014.
mhm,
And there was just no way that I was going to allow them to put my mom in a nursing home or do anything that they really wanted to do. Because trust me, I had to really, really fight hard to get the best care for her as being her advocate.
mhm,
And so I dropped everything. I dropped my career. I dropped everything and flew from California down to Las Vegas, where she was at. And I
mhm,
stayed with her in and out of the hospitals for about 6 months
mhm,
and just advocating for her care until we got her strong enough to maneuver back and transfer her here to our home in California, which was like a good, maybe about 1 year transition from, from going to the hospital and then to the rehab and then to an acute hospital and to a nursing home and then taking her out of state. So we finally got her into California, into our home.
mhm,
It's my husband, Jay, him and I. We don't have any children.
mhm,
And I think, to be honest, I think that was probably, in a way, best knowing what was in store for my future as
mhm,
being a family caregiver. That plays in a huge role I never thought would ever happen. But now my mom is with us, and
mhm,
she's been with us in our house since the late 2015, I believe, 2015.
mhm,
And when she first moved in with us, she was unable to sit like on the edge of a bed. She just doesn't have any core, like she would just
mhm,
like
mhm,
she would just keep falling over. So
mhm,
she has came a long way. She could only
mhm,
stay in her wheelchair for maybe about 20-15 minutes, and then
mhm.
she just didn't have any endurance.
The
So my
strength.
husband and I, we kept with it. We kept working with her, trying to get her settled, trying to get her to reteach her everything.
Um,
So that's kind of where we were with that. And now she's doing great. I mean, we
mhm,
have physical therapists coming in and out before COVID.
mhm,
And so she's doing wonderful right now, I must
mhm,
say. I'm very proud of her and I'm very proud of us
mhm,
on the accomplishment that we provided for her.
mhm. Wow, Dee. Wow.
I know I
Wow.
just threw out a lot.
That
Sorry.
that it's it that's a force to be reckoned with, when you have to make changes like that. And certainly I think so many people across the nation now can really, I'm not going to say they know what's going on in your house and your shoes and what you have to go through, but I can say that a lot of lives have been changed since we've gone through the pandemic.
Yes.
And you kind of had a head start on some in being able to help others. So tell us a little about how you guys started with YouTube. What made you, in the midst of all this, and all of a sudden decide to do YouTube?
Well, before my mom's stroke,
Hmm.
few years before that, I say I was on YouTube since like 2010.
Hmm.
And when I first started YouTube, I was basically an extreme couponer. Remember that trend?
Aww.
So I never got in front of the camera though. I was way too shy. Believe it or not, I am a very, very shy person. Growing up, I
Wow.
was extremely shy.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to be in front of the camera. Are you kidding me? No way. So I would just film my coupon hauls and share it
Mhm.
and then go over my deals, how I did it, blah, blah. And
Mhm.
so that's what started couponing. I didn't tell a single soul. I did not let any friends or family know what I was doing. I was totally under the radar because I was just too
Oh my
embarrassed.
goodness.
And so when my mom had her stroke, I took a huge MIA break, of course, for a
Mhm.
whole year. And then when I returned back, I was like, what do I do with my channel? Because some people were used to my couponing hauls. And so
Mhm.
they were messaging me like, hey girl, where you been? And I was like,
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know. And then I thought, Dee, you can't go out to CVS on the drop of a dime when you want to run on a deal, or
Mhm.
Walgreens or Target. And then I was like, man, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So then I was struggling. I was really struggling being in a new family caregiver. And I was like,
Mhm.
how do other people do this? This is so hard. I'm up like in the middle of the night one night, and I was just at my end wits. I was just like sleep deprived. I was overwhelmed, stressed
Mhm.
out. And I remember I got on YouTube
Mhm.
and I searched, you know, how to be a caregiver,
Mhm.
or I wanted to see not just training videos. I'm like, I want to see somebody going through what I'm going through. Is there anybody on YouTube? And I remember I came across this older man, and he was like journaling, like he just took his phone and he was telling about how he's caregiving for his wife. And he was saying, I don't know how we're going to make the mortgage, because his wife, she can't work anymore, so there went half of his income. He
Mhm.
goes, we're supposed to be retired right now. He's like, I don't know if there's anybody out there. He goes, but this is lonely. He's, oh, maybe that's why I'm taking out the camera. And then I just binge watched his 6 videos.
Bless his
And
heart.
I was like, I really need to see this, because
Mhm.
he's exactly saying exactly what I'm going through, sleep
Mhm.
deprived, and he was showing different things. And I was like, wow. Well, you know what though? He didn't make any more videos. And I was like, anybody else out there? No, I couldn't find anybody. So I thought, you know what? All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take one for the team,
Mhm.
and I'm going to get in front of the camera because I felt like it was going to benefit not just myself for my
Mhm.
own insanity. It's going to
Mhm.
give me something to do. It's going to keep my mind going. And
Mhm.
then also maybe there's another person like me out there in the middle of the night struggling and just want to take a peek inside someone else's
Mhm.
life as a caregiver.
Mhm.
So that's exactly what I did. I went ahead and I turned the camera on me for the first time.
Wow.
And I was a little bit like, I don't know if what do I really want to show, you know?
Yeah.
And then so being a family caregiver was a lot of being a homemaker for the first time.
Mhm.
Leona, I mean, I never been at home. Never. I'm like declutter. What is decluttering?
What is that?
Yeah, and then what's fly lady? I'm like, what the heck
Mhm.
what she does with flies or something? That's gross. And then I'm like, see, I was like totally. I mean, I'm like the person like, how do you make a meatloaf? How do you
Mhm.
do that? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I was a person that would just do takeout or whatever. I mean, I
Mhm.
did my own little dishes, but I didn't know how to be a homemaker. I didn't know that you had to do monthly stuff around your house. I'm
Mhm.
like, and one day I was searching, basically, I wanted to see how other people were being at home because
Mhm.
I never knew how to be at home.
Mhm.
Um, and that's when I came along Michelle's channel, My Everyday Wife Life.
Mhm.
And
I
I
miss
was
her.
no, I know, so do I. And I saw Michelle, and she
Mhm.
was just sharing her day, and I was like, I do that too. And then
Mhm.
just started getting intrigued. And then it
Mhm.
was, of course, with Melody, transforming
Mhm.
Melody. And
Mhm.
so I just started watching them, and then
Mhm.
Sophia. And then I just started binge watching those three ladies, and I became friends with all three of them.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, I guess I'm a homemaker. Am I a homemaker? Is that what I'm called? Like housewife? And I was like, by George, I'm a housewife.
Mhm.
And I just learned from them. I learned from them. I'm still learning, I feel. I crack up myself because, like I said, Leona, I never been a homemaker. I never really cooked. I don't like baking. I don't, anything about being in the home. I mean, I remember when me and my friends, we'd be working late hours. And I'm like,
Mhm.
man, I just wish I could just work from home. Or man, I just wish I could be a housewife. We would just be laughing, like,
Mhm.
no, no, we would be bored. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, we would be bored. I'm not bored.
No, there's no time to be bored.
Right. Everyone's, oh, you're so lucky you're at home. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, no, you just have
Well,
no clue. I had no clue. I had no clue what it took to be a homemaker until
mhm.
now. So
Bless you.
kudos to
All
all
right.
your homework makers out there. I think that's why a lot of times you see it on my channel
Mhm.
that I'm a variety channel, because
Mhm.
it's just not caregiving. It's
Mhm.
also homemaking content like decluttering, cooking,
Mhm.
meal planning,
Mhm.
because I think those all intertwine
They do.
together.
Mhm.
And being a family caregiver is just another part of it. So that's why I
Mhm.
like to call my channel the Variety channel. And then that's why the weekly vlogs are so important, I feel,
Mhm.
on my channel, because that also gives a peek inside
Mhm.
of what it's like on my journey as trying to balance it all. Because it's definitely
Yes.
a big balance to do.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But it seems like Jay has just fallen right in the sink, so to speak, with you and Queen G, and just working together, and it's amazing. It is so much fun to see.
It
Uh,
is. It took us a while to get to this point
mhm.
of actually having them appear in my videos. Because if you
Mhm.
would watch like 3 or 4 years ago, you
Mhm.
didn't really see too much
No.
of them in my videos.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was a little bit, intimidated.
Mhm.
It was really hard enough for me to get in front of a camera and to
Mhm.
show me,
Mhm.
but also with them, they didn't really know exactly what I was doing, to be
Right.
honest. They're like they're like, "You're on YouTube? Okay, whatever." And then every now and then my husband would like walk in on me filming something or whatever, and he just kind of like slowly backed up and closed the door.
I got that one upstairs.
Yes. He was like, Whatever makes her happy." And
Yeah.
so, and same thing with my mom. She didn't really know exactly what was going on either. They knew I was up to something, but they didn't really
Mhm.
question it, or
Mhm.
they weren't really into it until just recently. I would say last year, I started to put them both in it. And then I started
Mhm.
to actually say, hey, would you like to watch my latest vlog? And they're like,
Mhm.
sure. And so they did. And they were like, wow, wow, you're doing, you're showing that. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what
Mhm.
do you think? And he's like, hun, I think you're doing great. Keep it up. Keep it up, honey.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
people out there who you're helping. And then with my
Absolutely.
mom, Queen G, she's like, I'm pretty funny.
And she is. She is.
She is.
She's
And
a
she's like,
sweetheart.
and
Love it.
so she's proud of me. She's very proud of me. And
Absolutely.
she feels like, if there's some people out there that we can help, she goes, I'm all in,
Mhm.
so
Oh,
so
that's
they're doing
amazing.
really well.
That's good. That's good. Well, um, there are people, and I know I was looking for someone today. I was hoping I know she'll catch it if she's not on today during the live, but we do have a couple of caregivers who are usually pretty often here during lunchtime, and they're taking care of their loved ones as well. And in talking to several, particularly, we talked to Dr. Randall last week,
Right.
and I had a chance to talk to him afterwards. And he was referring to the fact, he said, it's been a struggle he's seen with his patients of those who have been able to take care of themselves, and those who were like us, who had a career, you got the career rolling, all of a sudden you're sick, and you're not able to come home and take care of yourself. And it's like, okay, do you come home and hope that your family can kind of pull it all together and get it done? Or do you have to go to, a facility? Well, that has not been, for some, the best answer. And so many people had to literally pull their loved ones out of facilities, once COVID got bad, and to bring them home, or to, if their loved ones got sick. He was talking about those with, of course, strokes was one, heart attacks. There was another one that he mentioned, but he said, they had gotten sick, didn't want to put them in the hospital because of their compromised situation, didn't want to put them into a facility because of their compromised situation, and not so sure, how things are going to go on. And so, there are so many people out there, Dee, who I know need what you have to give them. And even still, there aren't a lot of people on YouTube who have, at this point, I would consider it your expertise, because you have done it enough at this point where you can share kind of the ins and outs, the goods, the bad. You can give them a little bit of push guidance, and you do it in such a happy way that you can kind of bring them up out of the cloud, because like you said, you've had cloud moments. And so that's amazing to be able to do. And but it also carries a little weight, because you got some things you really got to keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, if I heard correctly, I was watching you were on with Denise, and you were saying that you are trying to put in writing. Did I hear that right? You're kind of putting checklist and those kind of things together so that you can start to share with others some things that they might need, and what those needs are. So say, for instance, if I would have to bring, now my mom's gone, but I can use her as an example. But if I had to bring mom home, I didn't know where to start. You would have, kind of a little checklist that you can kind of, check this when you go to the doctor. These are the things you need. Be sure to talk about that. Tell us a little bit about what you do, because, you know, going to the doctor just for yourself is a situation, and you want to
Right.
make sure you do it right. But then trying to make sure that you've done what you need to do for your loved one is a whole different situation. So tell us how you handle that. How do
Right.
you keep up with everything?
Oh boy. So I think what's so essential as being a caregiver, it's if it's for your loved one, or that's your job at a facility. Um, Being organized is so essential into caregiving. I always That's my number one tip, is to be organized in
Mhm,
every way possible.
mhm,
And with my mom, I had to learn the hard way. And we're talking about in 2014, where
mhm,
there's not as many printables out right now, or planners that are available as of today. But before, what I had to do was just take a binder. I'm a person, I'm very visual. I have to have everything in front of me at all times. And it's no difference with my mom's care. So I had to provide something that I knew that could be easily grabbed by anybody, and it had to keep everything all together for her care. So I kept a 3-ring red binder, and I labeled it with her name, and it says emergency medical binder. And
mhm,
inside there is different categories that I like to keep for her. Like, if
mhm,
someone is caregiving for my mom while I'm not there at the
mhm,
house, and, like, say a 911 situation had
mhm,
came out, in the first page there is going to be her 911 stats, meaning like her first, her last name, her date of birth, her height, her weight, our home address, because a lot of times they're not going to remember my home address right off the bat on a 911 call, because calling 911 is already traumatic as it is. So everything is right there. When she had this, da da da. So everything is right there to tell the 911 operator. And then the second, and then all the other pages are like her history of her blood, like her blood pressure, oxygen, temperature, all of her vitals is right there, so that the paramedics will ask, well, what is your mother's baseline? And so I can have a full log of the past, few weeks, because I take her vitals every morning and every night. So the paramedics will know, okay, this is really out of range. Or if I go to ER later, they can say, what's her baseline? Well, here it is. Okay, yeah, something's up. And then on the next page is like all of her list of her current medications, because let's face it, we're always tweaking medication, raising this, lowering that, getting rid of that, whatever. And it's really hard for me to keep up with it, because I know.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, guys, I think we lost Dee for a second. She might be able to come back in. Dee, if you can hear, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Okay, I got you. We got something going on between um, California and Virginia. Okay, Dee, we've had I'm sure it's internet. Our internets have been doing crazy things. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, you
Okay.
back? Okay. Okay.
And now I
This
switch
probably
different internets. Don't you just love internet?
we won't talk about that.
So
Talk about that.
in that binder, it has everything, all her
Mhm,
routines. And I think it's just really important to be organized, so that way, if you go, to their appointments, you got everything
mhm,
there. And take a
mhm,
notepad and a pen and write down notes. And I think
okay.
it's also a good reminder for ourselves. Like, we don't do that for
Mhm,
ourselves.
that's true.
You have to like really take a moment before your own appointment and write
Mhm,
down the questions you want to remember to ask, because
mhm,
sometimes the doctors will ask you, is there anything else? And we're like,
mhm.
no, we're good. But
And then you
no, we're
get
not.
home, you
So
forget.
I have to remind myself, to write down those notes too, Dee. You
Mhm,
got to take care of yourselves. We got to take good
that's
care of
true.
ourselves.
You do. You do. You know, we have a group at our church who they deal with they try to support those who are trying to support theirs, and I invited them to make sure that they would at least watch today, because I think your conversation is going to be good for them, because we were talking about okay, I'm gonna tell a little bit. Of course, you can tell our senior group is is we have such a variety. Our senior group is from the age of 50 up, and so because of that, there's such a widespread of needs, and so often some of us who are younger take those who are older wherever they need to go, whether it's to an appointment or whatever it may be. Well, of course, since COVID, we used to be able to go in with them, but now we can't do that. So we try to make sure that we take a note, take a notebook, ask questions before they go in, and to try to help. And that's something that I think almost, it wouldn't hurt to be almost kind of like a little training course to have for others, because in today's world, a lot of it's not just because of our current status with the pandemic, but even before that, I was starting to see more people bring as if their parents' health failed in one way or another, they were bringing the parents home because they didn't want them to have to go into
Right.
any type of nursing home, and which is fantastic. But as much as you want to be able to do that, it is a life change, and it's hard sometimes. How do you find the balance for yourself in being able to be Dee and take care of mom and husband? You know, is it easy to get lost in all of that? And how do you find yourself? How do you stay afloat?
Oh, well, I I found a support group. It's a
Oh,
caregivers support group. And there are so many out there right now. And if you're a caregiver like myself,
mhm.
I highly suggest that you find one. You can easily find one on Facebook. They have like dozens of different caregiving support
Okay.
groups out there. One of them I'm heavily involved with. I'm actually one of
Mhm,
the moderators. And
mhm.
this is just to give you an idea of how much a need is out there, I think, right now, is that I was one of the OGs of this support group.
Mhm,
We only had
mhm,
about 230, yeah, 230 people in the group. And we got to know each other very well. And it was a group where you can vent, you can share your tips, you can just, it was a safe place for us to
okay.
talk and talk about how the struggles, the stress, the overwhelming,
Mhm, mhm,
your good days, your bad days, your
mhm,
basically everything you ever wanted to just vent out, you can do that somewhere safely. Because I think
mhm.
that's something that's very that needs to be done. It's mentally, it's healthy for you mentally,
Yeah.
and so when I was on there, it was like 250 participants. We are now close to 3,000 participants in that group within a very short frame.
Wow.
And we're already kind of like maxed out, but we won't deny anybody because we feel
Mhm,
like it's such a need for people. I mean, who are
mhm,
we to deny someone help? So,
mhm.
I mean, that is mind blowing.
That
250
I
to close to 3,000. And
I
they're
am.
still asking to join. And
Mm,
unfortunately, though, our tight knit 250 participants, we got to know each other's loved ones. We would share
mhm,
photos and
mhm,
our good days and our triumphs for the day or whatever. And we would
mhm,
celebrate all these small moments because you have
mhm,
to find that celebration of every moment. And
mhm,
so I think from there, that has really saved me, I
mhm,
believe. And also, I think as time goes by, trying to find a balance for myself is that I really have to be very like, okay, you need to put your laptop away. You need to go outside. You
mhm,
need to get that sun. You need to take a break,
mhm,
order
mhm,
that takeout, or it's
mhm,
okay, order
mhm.
pizza or let's go out to dinner. You need a
Right.
break.
Mhm,
So I need to find that balance with like the chores too.
mhm.
Sometimes it's like being a homemaker, we get into so much like I'm a to-do lister. If you see some
Me
of my
too.
cleaning video, I'm always like writing a to-do list, but I give myself grace because I laugh
Mhm.
at myself sometimes. Like some homemakers on YouTube, they are like, they get like 20 things done during the day, or they clean their whole entire house all in one video. I'm like, no, I mean, I had my Valentine's Day decor, people. I still had that up just a few days ago. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
But I think it's like you got to learn how to laugh, like
Absolutely.
I think with my mom and I had very bad days where we're both crying,
Mhm,
together because
mhm,
she's feeling very bad that she's placed me in this situation, and
mhm,
I'm feeling bad because I'm in this situation, and we're both
mhm,
crying. We're to the point where we're looking at each other and we're just holding each other, And then we just start giggling, we just start
Mm.
laughing. I'm like, well, mom, I told you I was your partner in crime, but this is really ridiculous. And we would just be laughing. Or I said, well, mom, all right, so it was a bad morning. All right, well, it can
Mhm.
only get better than now from this day
Absolutely.
forward, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, I think you just have to have that humor, if you
Mhm.
can. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's other caregivers that don't have that. And there are ways to find a balance for yourself. You have to be disciplined, I think.
Mhm.
Before people say, oh, just remember, take care of yourself first. And I truly believe that. But sometimes I have to remind myself to do the same. So
Mhm.
I think with YouTube, I think that has been a great outlet for myself where
Mhm.
I get to have fun. I get to
Mhm.
create. I get
Mhm.
to stay focused on something else other than the daily house chores or the
Mhm.
caregiving part of it. And then my husband comes into play too because I had to give myself my time, and then my mom her time, and then I have to also give Jay his time. And then even the cat wants its
Oh
time too.
no.
So the cat wants to be on a lap, and sometimes
Mhm.
she can't get on my mom's lap, so
Mhm.
she wants my time too. So
Mhm.
I think I have to make those date nights, even if we can't
Mhm.
go out. We'll do like a puzzle, or we'll play Yahtzee, or
Mhm.
we'll play dominoes, or even Jay and I will just go sit out in the patio and
Mhm.
just talk. I think
Mhm.
that's really crucial, especially if you're
Mhm.
married. I think that's a real hard thing to do, is to
It is.
balance it all. Um,
Mhm.
so I think during the day, I have to wake up to make that time. People think, well, how do
Mhm.
you find the time? You don't find the time. You got to make the time. You have to
Absolutely.
make the time. If
Mhm.
that's getting up like crack of dawn, well, then get up at the crack of dawn if you want to get
Mhm.
your nails done, or if you want to take that time to binge watch people, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's what I do. I
Mhm.
have to make that time, and I make sure everyone has my time. So when my husband gets home
Mhm.
from work, it's like, okay, mom is going to, listen to some relaxing jazz music or
Mhm.
something. I'll
Mhm.
close her door, and then I'll
Mhm.
go, and sit down with my husband, and we'll talk
Mhm.
about his day, and then he'll ask about my day. So then our marriage time is right in that particular
Mhm.
moment. And
Mhm.
then once we're done, I'm like, okay, he got my time now. Okay, now I got to go rush in, make sure Queen G gets her time too. So I'll sit down and I'll
Mhm.
watch the news with mom,
Mhm.
and then we'll just talk out whatever. And
Mhm.
then when she's good, then I'm okay, now I got to make dinner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then usually when everyone's asleep, then it's D's time. And that's usually when I get to watch, whatever I want to watch, and just kind of like
Mhm.
just escape.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. That's a
Yeah,
full day. You
it
actually
is.
you got 2 full days in one because that really is a full day. And
It is.
we learn, I can tell you, as time goes by, even though, you have those days when it's full, um, you'll look back on it and you'll be so glad you did. You really will. You'll be so glad you did. But you're learning lessons young because you're still young, and you're learning young that the home's important, but most important is hubby and making sure he's taken care of. And what I know over the years, some will probably agree, over the years, if you take care of him, he'll take care of you and he'll step up and do whatever you need. And that doesn't change over time. We've been together over well, going on 46 years. And we've had
Wow.
days when, we've I've had to split between, into different directions. And as long as he's taken care of, and he feels like he's kind of getting a little bit of time, even though he
Mhm.
knows he has to share. But they stand by you, and that's what you want. He's your right hand. So hold on to their right hand. I know it's tough, and sometimes, he sees it. He knows what you're going through. But I'm looking at some folks there. Let me kind of fill in. When you were talking about cleaning the house, Denise said that, haha, she said she can't clean the whole house in a day. She's lucky if she can get the home week blessing done in it. She's lucky if she can get it done in a day, just not enough
Absolutely.
energy to do it more. There are just some days you're tired. You wake up tired and you just don't feel like doing all of that. She said she
Right.
also struggled with balance because, she had her mom, and her mom had some challenges that she had to deal with. And she said sometimes it would make her cry and wonder, what she had done to her. And she said, of course, when you tie in that you're tired, in addition to dealing with whatever the temperament it is for the day. And, of course, they're not being mean because they just want to really be mean, but it's just because they're having, it's their situation that they're going through. Um,
Right. And I think that's really key too, is that I think a lot of times I always put myself in my mom's place, to have empathy and compassion, because really it's kind of like, well, if you were in that situation, how would you feel or what would you do? So I think that's also really key, as well as being a family caregiver. Oh, did we did we lose Leona? Can you guys see Leona? Leona. Hopefully she'll be back. Can you guys still see me? Let's see. Can you guys see? Denise, are you still there? Hey, Mel, Melinda, can you guys still see me? Am I on there or is Leona? All I see is myself at the moment. Let's see. I can see the chat. Yes. I don't see Leona. So I'm going to keep going on. Okay. Okay, thanks, Sue. Okay. I'm going to keep going on for Leona. So, do you guys have any questions for me? I can definitely see the chat and I can answer some of your questions. Again, my name is Dee from Dee Lovely Life. I am a variety channel, and I also do like decluttering, cleaning, cooking, not so much organizing. And I really wish I DIYer, but I really don't do too much DIYs. I do sometimes some grocery hauls, and I do a weekly vlog showing a little bit of my journey as a homemaker. And if you do follow me, I like to somehow put a little bit of entertainment in there. I think it's really important to show a true balance of real life. Not taking things so serious, especially as being a homemaker for the first time. And it's another reason why Denise at this your channel totally speaks to me, because I feel like I am a new homemaker, and I think in some of my videos I kind of make myself sometimes. I have some what I call D moments, because no one didn't really teach me how to be those kind of things. Just was self-taught, I guess, in a way. And you throw a family caregiver in there, and that's also self-taught. So show that on my channel about all different aspects and a variety of what together as a family caregiver and as a homemaker. Let me see. Um, okay, check the chat. How I do talk about how you do dinner. We can see you. What do you do when things get stressful? I agree. We need to share more of the joy associated with homemaking life. Yes, definitely. Um, far as dinner, I think meal planning is also part of trying to be so organized as a family caregiver and as a homemaker, of course. But for my family dinners, I try to make them as easy as I can possibly do. But I love trying new recipes. Oh, I love trying new recipes. I think that is my favorite thing to do when I'm at a thrift store. You could always find me at the cooking recipe aisle. But I do like to meal plan because I feel like Pam.
Oh my, thank you guys for staying. Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened. We had to totally shut everything down and bring it back up. What is going on with these computers? I don't know. I sent a message to the community page and say, I'm trying to get it fixed.
Well, life happens.
It
Talk
happens.
about
It
real life.
happens.
That's real life right there.
Thank you, Sue. I
YouTuber
see
problems.
Sue had put on here that that I was trying to get back on. I don't StreamYard came up with a connection issue banner that they had put across the top. So it was just kind of everything was spinning. And so I had to totally go out and try to come back in. But I see you're getting to eat lunch. So that's good. We get to eat our
Remember
lunch.
my apple.
All right. All right. Well, that's great. Well, I certainly appreciate you staying with us and hanging out and having a good time. Yay! Yeah, we're back. It is windy. Melinda's saying that it's windy here. We have a lot of wind, even though it's warm. It is extremely windy. So I'm just phew, that was scary. I've never had that one to happen. But anyway, we
Well, welcome back, Leona.
well, you kept everybody going. I know. We let's see. There I was trying to make sure we had covered everything. Let's see what else. Um Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. When say you and Jay want to kind of get away, do you have uh, someone who's close to you who can come in and help, or to sit with Queen G and be with her and entertain her while you're gone? Do you have are
Yes.
they family members or someone who you just have that regularly come in?
Yes. Well, yes and yes, actually, to both of those questions.
Okay.
I had a relief caregiving agency that I
Oh.
had used for a couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
and they would come once a week and they would sit with my mom, do whatever I needed them to do during that time, so that
Mm-hmm.
I can sneak away and run errands or go to the beauty salon or something, whatever I needed. And
Mm-hmm.
then on for date nights, we would schedule a caregiver to hire so
Mm-hmm.
that they can sit with my mom. And then we were lucky enough to find a personal caregiver that lived like maybe a mile and a half down the street from us. I didn't know that. And she loved Queen G. She would just love Queen
Oh.
G. So she would come over to relieve us in the evening, and she and my mom would have dinner together, and then they would watch a movie or whatever together. And so it worked out really nicely until she moved.
Okay. Oh.
And then, unfortunately, because of COVID,
Mhm.
it was really hard to get the caregiving agency to come back because
Right.
they're so shorthanded right now.
Absolutely.
And not only that, it's kind of like I didn't really want to allow anybody into our home that wasn't
Mhm.
in our bubble.
Your bubble.
So
Mhm.
for the last past year and a half, it's just been
Mhm.
me with no really other caregiver relief.
Okay.
But if we're at our other house in
Mhm.
Las Vegas,
Mhm.
definitely my sister would come
Okay.
over and she would take over
Mhm.
and relieve my husband and I, so we can go enjoy date nights in Las Vegas.
Mhm. Mhm.
And my niece, she always would love just to hang out. Her and her dog would always hang out with Queen G, um,
Aw.
with her grandma. So
Mhm.
um, we're just very blessed here in California as well because we have our next door neighbor.
Mhm.
They're not just neighbors. My
Mhm.
husband was kind of childhood, growing up next door kind of deal. And
Mhm.
so they're like family. And we're
Aw.
very blessed that
Mhm.
they would come over, or I would always leave the baby monitor with my neighbor fam, and they
Mhm.
would look after Queen G, or, just friends.
Oh. Oh, that's nice.
So we're very blessed to have the help when we do. But
Yeah.
just because of COVID, we just haven't had that
Mhm.
luxury yet. I just feel like
Mhm.
I just don't want to take that risk. yet.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
definitely I'm on the search for using another caregiving agency around here,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can start also interviewing some people and
Mm-hmm.
trying to find that perfect match for my mom. Because I really would like to have a day or maybe even 2 days a week
Mm-hmm.
where they come in for, a few hours, like maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Does a physical therapist come in still?
They can, but because of
Uh-huh.
COVID, we stopped all
Okay.
physical
Okay.
therapy sessions
Okay.
at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
However, the doctor was like, "Whatever you need, you just let me know when." He's like, "I'll write an order whenever you're ready," And
Okay.
so that's something that we've been kind of discussing this
Mm-hmm.
week about, like,
Mm-hmm.
well, when should we start this back up? I think
Mm-hmm.
we're okay a little
Mm-hmm.
bit right now because
Mm-hmm.
California, we just banned the mandated facial
Right.
mask around here.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with healthcare, I'm sure you still have to probably wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure if I want someone to come in the house, in
Mm-hmm.
home physical therapy. We
Mm-hmm.
might do that first, I think, until
Right.
she's a little bit more at strength, because that is a setback, with her not
Right.
being
Oh
in a
yeah.
physical therapy. So we
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to start from square one again.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That, yeah, I'm sure that has been hard.
Hmm.
And um, I wondered about this. Was there anything online? Like what was funny? I'm a Zumba girl, and
Ooh,
so all of a sudden, Zumba ended up. It seemed like there were 10,000 Zumba teachers that were on YouTube during the pandemic. So you could find whatever class you wanted to and go for it in your
ooh.
kitchen or wherever. And I wondered if through physical therapy, if they were able to perhaps provide something online or what do they call it? Telmed, kind of a telmed kind of thing where they could Zoom and, where you would actually do whatever it was that they needed.
Great.
But did I freeze?
Hold on. Let me see if I can get my audio back on.
Oh, okay.
AirPods.
I don't know what is in the atmosphere.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Are we
Okay.
back?
Then let me try to get this one off here. Okay. Let's see.
Now.
Trying to get back my audio here. Everything is just happening, huh?
I know, I know. Kim says she can hear both of us,
Oh, no, I don't want
but
that.
Dee can't hear me. So
But I think you were talking about something about having an online, far as
right.
like,
Was it yeah,
right.
for
So I haven't found anything. I know that there are some videos out there for
mhm,
online, like training or
mhm,
exercising for mom. I
mhm,
really need to be honest, I really need to search for more of those, I
mhm,
feel.
mhm.
But I do know that there are some resources out there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also, just not YouTube, they also have like podcasts
Oh,
for
okay.
caregiving, or for like giving you some exercises to follow.
Mhm.
I thought
Mhm.
that was pretty neat too.
That's
I
kind of neat.
personally, I haven't tried any of that, but I
Mhm,
would love
mhm.
to look into that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I was just curious because it just seemed like so many things that I won't say we took for granted, but we had access to, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And I just wondered if they were able to provide that through another means, because we do have technology. Well, when it works, but
Right, right.
we do have technology to be able to get us through that. Um, I saw that you are decluttering. You are having a good time decluttering, girl. You are working it. Uh,
There is just so much clutter in this house. It's funny. I don't know if I shared this on my own channel, but the house that we live in right now
mhm.
was my in-laws.
Oh,
And so Jay basically was brought up in this house.
okay.
So when we got married and we purchased the house from them,
Mhm.
they left a lot
Okay.
behind.
Okay.
They moved to
Mhm.
Tampa, Florida, in that area
Oh,
now. So that's
okay.
where they are. So they went
Mhm.
all the way on the other side of the coast.
Wow.
Unfortunately, not their things though.
Mhm. Oh.
So the house was basically furnished
Uh-huh.
with all their stuff.
Oh.
And the attic was like just lots of stuff
Oh.
in there, and
Oh.
the linen closet and
Mhm.
just everything. Everything was all theirs. And
Mhm.
although I'm very grateful for that, because when we got married, we didn't really have much, and we
Mhm.
were blessed enough to, to basically inherit
Mhm.
everything. And but it just wasn't, it never felt like it was mine, like my
Mhm.
home here.
Mhm.
And then I the guiltiness comes in, right? Where you don't really want to throw it out, because you don't really want to, like,
Mhm.
um you don't want to not be polite and not
Mhm.
be grateful for everything they've given you. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like, man, that whole cabinet is just full of silverware, like
Okay.
silver. And I'm like, I
Wow.
don't I don't serve on silver. So it's
Mhm.
like, why am I holding on to this stuff?
Mhm.
She was really involved, or she really liked the ducks. I
Okay.
guess that was like the
Mhm.
trend back
A
then.
thing.
And so
Mhm.
everything, she had ducks this, ducks that. And I'm just like, ducks just don't speak to me.
No, I'm not.
So it was like, but I kept it. I kept it for
Mhm.
so long. So when
Mhm.
I became a homemaker and I was home,
Mhm.
I would be staring at all this stuff and I'm like, God, I don't like any of this stuff. But then I felt really guilty that I didn't want to really, hurt her feelings and then
Right.
get rid of everything. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this is my home and now I'm in it like all the time. Because before I was
Mhm.
working, I was never home, never home.
Mhm.
But now that I'm home all the time, I'm staring at things. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I could really use that cabinet for my own stuff, or,
Mhm.
and then like I told you, I was watching Michelle and
Mhm.
Melody
Mhm.
and Sophia. And Sophia, believe it or not, she contacted me, and I love Sophia from My Great Challenge.
I know, she is sweet.
Yes, and her and I became friends, and she asked
Oh.
me to be part of her 30 bags in 30 days.
Mhm.
And she asked Michelle, and Michelle's like, okay, I will. And I'm like, okay, I will too. And then Melody, at Transferring Melody, she's like, okay, so all of us joined Sophia
Uh-huh.
on her 30 bags in 30 days, way
Mhm.
back in the day. And that
Mhm.
was even before decluttering became a
A
thing
big
on YouTube
thing.
like it is
Uh-huh.
nowadays,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
So, way back then, and again, I didn't really know what I was getting into, because remember, I'm a homemaker housewife beginner. So these ladies were like way ahead of me. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, I'm just gonna just kind of follow into
Mhm.
whatever they're doing.
Whatever they do.
Whoa, that was a huge, huge declutter. And you got to remember, we filmed during the day, we
Mhm.
decluttered, filmed it, and then in the evenings when we were done, we had to edit it,
And mhm.
and then we would have to publish it first thing the next morning for
Oh my goodness.
30 days straight.
Mm.
It was a huge project. And with
Wow.
me, not really in front of the camera just yet, because if you go back to those videos, all I'm doing is talking to the phone, showing you what I'm decluttering.
Uh-huh.
And so I learned how to edit YouTube videos real quickly. I
Oh,
learned how to get to know an audience for my first time,
mhm.
and I really got to know myself, not
Mhm.
just as a content creator, but as a as a real beginner homemaker.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And it was yeah, that was a huge challenge, because 30 bags was like huge. It was like a lot of stuff I just got rid
Right.
of. It was kind of like a do or die situation. And
Exactly.
then I think it was like towards the 20th day, I was like, and this is going and that is going. I was totally cutthroat by day 30. I think at one point I was getting so like just overwhelmed. I was just like, I just want to get this over with. I think day 20 or day 15, it was like I had to get rid of like I can't remember what it was, but I got rid of like a big old toaster oven. I'm like
Mhm.
done. And that was my video. I remember Michelle was just laughing so hard at that because behind the scenes, Sophia, Melody, and Michelle and I, we would be just talking and laughing through this thing. And we're like pulling our hair out, like, oh my God, oh my God. So I think the four of us totally bonded through that time.
Mhm.
And then I
Mhm.
really realized like, hey, I've really gained a really close relationship with
Mhm.
these ladies on YouTube, and I'm learning so much from them.
Yeah.
And I'm really starting to enjoy this. So then
Mhm.
that's what really pushed me to do more
Mhm.
videos on
Mhm.
YouTube of decluttering. Because let's face it, I have this huge house. It's like, well, technically it's 1,900 square feet, but we have the
Mhm.
addition over here in the back room, so it's like 25,000, yeah, 2,500 square foot home. And I have a lot to declutter still. It's just a never ending thing.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I've got Melinda. Melinda said, "Can we do that? 30 bags in 30 days." Now she just I think she did this last month. She did 50 items a day, every day for a
I
month.
know. Kudos, Mel. I
Oh,
mean,
I got
Melinda,
to.
yeah, go check out Melinda, Plain and Simple, her channel,
Oh
because she's
my
always doing decluttering. I
God.
mean, it that's a big challenge.
It is. For 50 items. That's a lot of
It
stuff.
it is, and I think with the whole decluttering, I noticed that that's one of my, biggest videos, or far
Mhm,
as, like, people views, I guess,
mhm,
is always
mhm.
my decluttering, and I don't know why,
Well, I
to
can
be
tell
honest,
you because
because
I'm one that usually watches them. It's like that's your veg out moment. Okay, I really need to do this, but I'm going to watch you do it. And I'm just sitting back, feet kicked back, something to drink, and you are just working your little heart out. And I am just giggling and going, oh, yeah, yeah, throw that away.
I know. I I was telling that, I think it was to my sister. I was like, "Yeah, my biggest videos are decluttering videos."
Mhm.
And I don't know why, because I am not an expert, and all I do is I just chat, I talk. I
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
and then sometimes the things I say, I'm like, "Did I really say that?" I don't know. Maybe that's why people watch my decluttering, because they just get a kick out of me, because 'cause they're probably thinking, "This girl don't know what she's doing, but let's just see let's see what
I
happens."
know, I know. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop. We got a lot of questions, but
Okay.
I do want to share. And Dee knows. I was saying to Dee that earlier that I had been thinking about this particular segment and how special it was to me. And I wanted to share something with you. I don't usually go in this direction, but it was so powerful yesterday that I thought I needed to bring it. And it's still, I want to say, heavy on my heart, and first and foremost, because I know so many of you are trying to navigate working from home, are trying to make the decision whether or not you're going to go back in to work. And those of us who are at home, we're trying to figure out our circumstances and what we're doing, around the house. But something that we do need to keep in mind is that no matter what, as wives, we need, and women, and even men, we need to, my pastor had his subject was don't let your light go out. And that was a positive. When he said that, it was like it gave me chills,
Mhm.
because we all need to keep our light on. And I thought I couldn't believe that he actually had that subject matter yesterday, because immediately I went to Dee. I thought of Dee. Her light is on. And he talked about three things. He said, don't let your light go out. And I'm kind of reading to make sure I get it right. Because all of us, we need our uniqueness. And where that struck me was my phrase for 2022, and I hadn't shared this with any I don't think anybody, was uniquely different. That was me, uniquely different, and I needed to make sure I brought that out. The second thing was don't let your light go out, because we need your compassion. And your compassion is not just with your family and your loved ones, but it's also with the people around you, your community, to be compassionate with that. And certainly with our world affairs, with the Ukraine and all that stuff that's going on, we need our levels of compassion to come about. Third was, he said, don't let your light go out, because we need your entrepreneurial spirit and wisdom. And certainly, Dee, you have certainly shown us all of that, in that we can make changes. We can make changes. We have a choice. Our choice is either to make a positive change and keep our lights on, or we can certainly go in another direction, which is not so positive, that may put someone's light out as well as ours. And so we want to make, as we're trying to live our best life, we want to be able to remember that as we're living our best life, that compassion, wisdom, uniqueness is all a part of it. And I applaud each and every one of you, because you're always encouraging and always inspiring. And as much as you think we're trying to inspire you, you inspire us. And Dee, wow, this has been phenomenal. I have certainly enjoyed today. And I hope we get to hop again. Remember when we got to do our little
Oh,
hop?
yeah.
I'm hoping we hop again, and we do something special along the way. But even it doesn't even have to be a spot, a hop. So if we just want to get together and do something else, we want to be able to keep in touch from one side of the United States to the other, and certainly enjoy each other, because life's short, and we've got a lot to do while we're here. And give Queen G a big hug. Give
Oh,
Jay
I will.
a big hug. And let them know that all of us who are here are keeping you in our hearts and our prayers every day. And you hang in there. And when you need a giggle, let me know. I'll bring you on. We'll give you a giggle and keep you going, girl. So, much love to you, and much love to everyone who's here. We've got those who are sharing with us love, of course, to us, but to the Queen G and J. They want us to enjoy the rest of the day. And thanks for a great show. And that they've really enjoyed what's gone on today. God bless you, Dee.
Oh, thank you so much, Leona. I just absolutely love you. I adore you.
Oh, well, I hope I can sometime give you a few words that will help to keep you going.
That
So,
was a beautiful saying. I absolutely love that.
wasn't it
Absolutely.
powerful?
Yes, absolutely. That just really struck
Mm.
me. So thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for all your videos that you do too on your channel. And I appreciate everybody who stayed, and even throughout our little technical difficulties.
Oh, blip.
But it's
Yeah,
all good. So
it
thank you so
happens.
much for inviting me to be your guest. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, come back and see us again. Give us a few months and come back again and let us see. You know what? I know you did Vlogmas, right?
Yes.
But we're going to have to work something. I'm
Yes.
trying to get it in my head. There should be some way that we can work something really
Oh, that would be
special for
awesome.
Vlogmas, which would be fun. So
Yes.
we'll get together on that and work it out. All right. You have a wonderful day. And for the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your lunchtime. Mwah. Have fun. See you
Bye.
soon.